All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a pretty amazing story about how one little mobile game, a game about a chicken, didn't just take over the world. It actually inspired a trip back in time. So, let's kick things off with one of the oldest jokes in the book. But trust me, the answer is probably not what you're thinking. Yep, you heard that right. See, the story of the mobile game Crossy Road is way bigger than just its gameplay. It's about a true phenomenon that pretty much rewrote the rules for mobile games and made its creators millionaires almost overnight. Okay, so what exactly is Crossy Road? Well, at its heart, it's a super clever modern take on an old school arcade classic. It was put out by an Australian indie studio, Hipster Whale. And what they did was they took the super simple, super addictive idea from the 1981 classic Frogger and just gave it this fresh, modern spin with that blocky, voxel art style we all know now. The whole point is just to see how far you can get, one little hop at a time. And this quote right here, it really gets to the core of the backstory. Before all this incredible success, one of the co-creators, Matt Hall, was basically a struggling developer working from his parents' sheep farm. It just perfectly sums up that wild journey from total obscurity to having a global smash hit. Now here's the thing. The reason this game blew up wasn't just because it was cute and fun to play. It was also this radical experiment in how you make money from a game that's, well, free. And the results of that experiment? They were absolutely staggering. I mean, just look at these numbers. In the first 3 months, just 90 days, Crossy Road got downloaded over 50 million times and pulled in a massive $10 million. So the big question is, how on earth did they do it? Well, they completely tossed out the typical freemium model that you see on the left there. You know the type, right? The ones that are constantly nagging you, pushing you to pay, and full of annoying ads. Instead, Crossy Road went down a totally different road. They built their entire model on goodwill. Watching an ad was always your choice, a simple trade for some in-game coins. You could get all the fun characters just by playing, and you never ever had to pay to get ahead. Get this, their most popular paid item was a little piggy bank that people bought just to say thanks to the creators. Nobody felt tricked into spending money. They actually wanted to. But the game's story doesn't stop there. Its influence went somewhere totally unexpected. It actually inspired this really unique tribute that sent the game hurtling 35 years back into the past. And that brings us to this really cool concept called a demake. It's basically when you take a new, modern game and you rebuild it on old-school hardware, with all the limitations that come with it. A developer, Bob Smith, saw the pure genius in Crossy Road and asked this awesome question. What would this game have been like if it was made back in the 1980s? And this table just illustrates the result perfectly. On the left, you've got the original. And on the right, you have Crossy Road, a completely playable version for a 1981 Sinclair ZX81 computer. We're talking about a modern smartphone versus a computer with just 16 kilobytes of memory. And with the original creator's full blessing, he translated that 3D voxel look into simple 2D text characters. So for Smith, the whole goal was to just strip the game down to its absolute essence, its addictive core. He really wanted to prove that the design itself was timeless, that the fun had nothing to do with fancy graphics or modern processing power. You know, this whole journey, from a modern smash hit all the way back to this retro demake, it actually reveals something really fundamental about what makes an idea truly great. And really, Smith's own words right here pretty much sum up the biggest takeaway. The success of Crossy Road wasn't really about the tech it was running on. It was about pure, simple, fun, and fair design. And that's a principle that works in any era of gaming. And so that's the thought I want to leave you with. What other complex modern ideas are floating around today that are, at their very heart, simple enough that they could have existed yesterday? Thanks so much for joining this explainer.